I'm Alan Robarge, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Welcome to Improve Your Relationships, where I like to talk about attachment injuries and healing attachment trauma. And on this video, it's the beginning of a series of videos about the core concerns and the core practices. And in fact, I'm calling it the core concerns of insecurely attached relationship dynamics, which is a mouthful, and I know that the name is long, so the shorthand version, I'm just going to refer to this as the core concerns and the core practices, which exist together. There's a total of 12 of them, and so this means that I'm creating 12 videos, one for each to explore, but then also there's a separate document that just lists the practices by themselves. The core concern names a dynamic or a situation specific to an insecure attachment and certain qualities and behaviors of relating, and how this perpetuates a struggle in relationship. So this is the core concern. And then I'm linking it with what I'm calling the core practice, which is a strengths-based approach. It's a solution-focused approach to say, how do we shift away from repeating and recreating the scenario of the concern and do something a little different. So the practice is an invitation to do something different. And all of the practices have the phrase, they begin with the phrase, I choose, or therefore I choose to, etc., etc. And hopefully this will resonate with you. Also, if you want to follow along, I've created this document, and you can find it on my website, which I'll give you the URL here. It's alanrobarge.com/core concerns. You can download this document, and then you can follow along and read it yourself and have it to refer to in the series of these videos. So let's jump in. Number one, the core concern, and it says, we disappear in our relationships, oftentimes attempting to be more of who we think our partner wants or needs us to be instead of who we know ourselves to be. Therefore, we choose to practice being true to ourselves and applying mindful, prudent discernment when selecting mates and building trusting relationships. So I'm hoping that this resonates with you, and that that it's helpful to hear it stated so clearly and so directly. And quite honestly, I didn't read it exactly the right way, because I left out the phrase lose ourselves, or I think I did. We disappear. I'll read it again. We disappear and lose ourselves in relationships, oftentimes attempting to be more of who we think our partner wants or needs us to be instead of who we know ourselves to be. Therefore, we choose to practice being true to ourselves and applying mindful, prudent discernment when selecting mates and building trusting relationships. So do you notice the first part is the concern, and then the part that follows is the practice? And can you relate? Do you know that feeling? What it's like to lose yourself in a relationship and morph yourself, change yourself, become a chameleon to try to fit into what you think your partner wants you to be, or even outright what your partner directly says or says he or she wants. And so then you adapt to be that. And that's painful. If you can't be yourself in relationship, this is going to set yourself up to fail and is going to invite ongoing suffering and struggle, and you won't be happy. So therefore, you choose to practice being true to yourself and applying mindful, prudent discernment. And that's very important, mindful, prudent discernment. This is not feeling-based. It's not about what feels good, and it's not about pursuing a sensation. It's really having the ability to think clearly and to be prudent about your choices and to be mindful about your choices. Therefore, we choose to practice being true to ourselves and applying mindful, prudent discernment when selecting mates and building trusting relationships. So I'm going to read it one last time. Again, if you want a copy of this, go to my website, alanrobarge.com/core concerns, and you can get your copy to follow along. We disappear and lose ourselves in relationships, oftentimes attempting to be more of who we think our partner wants or needs us to be instead of who we know ourselves to be. Therefore, we choose to practice being true to ourselves and applying mindful, prudent discernment when selecting mates and building trusting relationships. I hope that this is helpful. I hope it resonates with your experience. Please leave a comment. Also, please know that these core concerns are the guiding principles that inform the community that I'm creating, Improve Your Relationship, the membership website of like-minded people coming together who share in some form, some range, some of these concerns, and coming together to dialogue about them, to ask advice, offer feedback, ways to be encouraging to each other, to practice from a model of self-directed healing, to go about creating relationships a little bit differently, and to stay grounded and focused on the practices of where do you have choice and how can you continue to make prudent, mindful, discerning choices. Again, I hope this is helpful. Stay tuned. Video number 2 in the series of the core concerns and practices are going to follow. Thank you very much.